Strap yourself in
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
The following program is for adult audiences only.
Hello, my name is André Gentilhomem. The translation in English would be Andrew Gentleman, but you can call me whatever you feel more comfortable. I'm doing now the PortoPodcast to share with you our local concerns, as you will be able in the future to share your opinion with me. Let's see what we have for today. Let's start with a student festival. It's coming the week of the student festival, but before the student festival, as usually, we always have students who have brilliant ideas. There were 2 cases this week let me share with you. One of these cases, it was the law students. They left at the hall of the university a box with stones, and they claimed it was for free. You could grab the stone for free if you wanted to throw it to a Zuca, which is how they call to the Brazilian students here. And, let's say that they were saying that you could throw the rock because the Brazilian students were passing in front of them on the priorities of the exams. Well, I don't know until which point this is true or not, but we can see here there's a local frustration with, let's call it like they did Zucas. Well, this was obviously seen by the Brazilian students as a very offensive thing. It has been discussed on TV quite a lot. It is not cool for you to offer free stones to offer to Brazilian students. Well, to offer to throw it. It is not cool that you feel frustrated by a process that you should demand from your government, and then you just blame the Brazilian students. A lot of people have been having different opinions about this, mainly because there were nobody throwing the rocks, which fortunately didn't bring any bad consequence. And some people are claiming the free of speech as an important issue here. I can say whatever I want if there is no bad consequences to another person. The Brazilian community is saying that it is very offensive, as we can see. Well, if you ask the people to throw rocks to a certain community, that becomes quite offensive to that community. On that they are right. We have here an issue to be discussed along these weeks on which one will be more important. The offensive way that it was claimed there on that box, or the freedom of speech of being able to say even such a stupid thing as it was there. Well, if you have an opinion, send us a voicemail by WhatsApp, as I will explain you at the end of the program, and share it with us. Could be cool to know more opinions about this subject. I'm not putting any of the sides on the right or bad basket. Whatever is your opinion, it will be still your opinion. Of course, please don't throw rocks to anybody. Then the second student event of the week. Some history students organized a parade, and they decided to have a theme, the Holocaust. So the older students, they dressed up as Nazi soldiers, and they made the freshmen to dress as if they would be the Jews that would be on the concentration camps. Well, another thing that has been discussed a lot on TV, what to do with this? Is this ignorance? Is this like just provoking discussion about this theme? Is it cool? It is morally right that we just play with such a holocaustic event. Well, it has been difficult to put things on the right mode. There is one thing that is true. There was no pedagogic thing there. They didn't teach anything new to anybody. They, in fact, just exposed themselves as half of them Nazis and half of them Jews, and there was no explanation there. It seemed that they were in fact celebrating the Holocaust. Guys, be careful with what you do. It's coming a happy week, student festival, but wow. Every time you have been doing something this week, whatever is the university, it hasn't been like really like on a nice level. This is becoming quite polemic. Once again, freedom of speech, freedom of acting. Um, we can act as Nazis and to not offend people. You could do a little bit better as history students. Then let's go for a short political news here. There's the Animal Nature Political Party, which sometimes has really brilliant ideas, and this time they want to, well, let's say they want to waste time of our parliament, um, opening discussions that they know it doesn't really bring to an end, but they are still these political parties that they defend that the more we discuss something, the more resolution we'll find. And in fact, sometimes with so many important things here to discuss, they decide to bring ideas that they know that nobody will agree, like on at least that the majority won't agree. There will be a discussion. Conclusion: nothing will happen again. So let me tell you what it is. They they want to open to discuss that people, in this case teenagers, they could start to be able to vote with 16 years old, and they present very strong argument. If a teenager can work and discount for social services and has already responsibilities at school that where he can choose or make his first choices for the future, he can certainly vote on the right politician. And well, this is in such a good timing with so many populists and so many teenagers who are really influenced by really shitty social networks that to give them now the power to vote is like surely the right thing to do. It's like let's give to them, to 16 years old teenagers, the power to change the world. Has been better lately when we are already influenced by social networks' opinions. Well, they forgot here certain things that they should have proposed too, and for some reason nobody talked about it. So what we do when people go into retirement? Do we take the power to vote from them? So you're 70 years old and you stop to be able to vote because you cannot work anymore. Doesn't seem cool, but they didn't really mention it all because they like votes, and in fact they want to enlarge the capacity of votes because lately they have been saying so all the political parties they has this big capacity to say so many shitty things that in fact maybe if they enlarge to 16 years old, the capacity to vote will be higher. And they forgot to mention another thing. So, you have a son or a daughter dating someone with 60, 70 years old, and your son or daughter is 16 years old. Are we going to give it the legal responsibility to get pregnant or make someone pregnant, or just to date an adult? What do we do? They didn't mention any of this because, in fact, they were just interested on the power to vote as soon as you turn 16, which, as we all know, we have conscience of everything that is happening around us with 16. But as everyone knows, are we famous by making the right choices with 16 years old? Then, to finish the news, well, let's say this week, let's call it the Rainbow Zebra Week. Our politicians and our journalists were spending a lot of time talking about the same issue. There were a group of politicians, let's just really not care who was it, who suggested that we could paint two zebras on the, and by the zebras, I don't know how to say it in English, but places where you cross the street. Um, they wanted to paint the zebras as with a like a rainbow colors, two in honor of the LGBTI community. Well, this became much more polemic than was supposed to be. Well, the politicians then they turned against each others because some of them they were saying that it was discrimination to make heterosexual people to have to cross the road on a rainbow zebra, as if that would really affect their life. But then, after a week of discussing this, who was right, who was wrong, who was in fact discriminating who, and this was about two zebras. Let's just emphasize it here. At the end, they are not going to do it for not for this issue, but for a legal issue. Every line that is painted for the traffic on the roads has to be white and black. On this way is official is according to the law, and everyone understands that it is an official mark. If you paint it as rainbow and the car hits a person crossing the zebra, it won't be legal. The zebra at least. So the car will be in fact right because hit you, but there was no zebra there. So apparently you would be the guilty on this issue. So there is two things to do here: or we put colors in our laws, or then we don't suggest things for a beautiful purpose. When we are ignorant, like our politicians, that they are really capable of suggesting things when they could just consult inside of the parliament, and there's a lot of people that and a lot of lawyers that would advise them what they could say or not, at least legally. But this ignorance, they just open their mouth and they decide to say things without thinking before, and now they created the problem. Another discrimination conversation during the week, when in fact in Portugal we already have really nice laws that obviously should be always improved. But well, let's continue to listen to politicians before they inform themselves of everything, and then to continue to talk about discriminations that on this case didn't exist any discrimination for two zebras in the entire country. But what to do? Well, now the episode is coming to an end, so I'm going to explain you how you can interact with me on the podcast. Well, you can send me a WhatsApp message to the following number: +351, which is the Portuguese code, and then 932 521849. For sure, if you look up on the pages of the Porto podcast, you will find the number 2. But do not forget, before you give your opinion, in case you agree, disagree, or you think I said something stupid or something cool, or that it was missing something to be said there, don't forget at the beginning of your WhatsApp voice message, always say, my name is, I am from, and then your nationality, I am, and then your age, and I allow you to share my message at the podcast. Guys, this is very important. If you don't start your message with this, I cannot share it, and I won't share it, even if it is super cool. So, well, if you want to interact, cool. If not, I will keep updating the internet with nice news, or in fact, even sometimes sad news that affect our local life here in Porto and in Portugal. Have a nice day.